TikTok is something a lot of people have dismissed, and other folks who are marketing pundits, the same folks who jump on crypto or whatever the latest thing is, will say TikTok in 2022 is like Facebook in 2007. Let's talk about what's actually working today. And if you have some thoughts and comments, if you have a success story to share, hit that hand raise button, and Jeffrey will get to you in a bit so we can talk about what's working. The folks at ByteDance who own TikTok reached out to me about 18 months ago, and they said they'd some help creating a course on TikTok ads. And so we've been doing a lot of testing quietly. Perry Marshall and I have a book we're about to release in just a few days. We're putting the final touches on. So if you have some great examples, we'd love to look at that. But here's the net effect. And by the way, I know this is being recorded. So if anybody from ByteDance or the agencies that work with them hear this, you can go ahead and come at me. TikTok on the ad, Facebook. TikTok lead ads is the number one thing that's working best on TikTok. In other words, the forms where they're automatically filled out with the email address that work well on Facebook are what works on TikTok. We've seen this with lots of examples. Our buddies at Chiro Candy have 300 chiropractors. They use the same template where the beginning scene is, hey, are you in, attention, Oxnard, California, or whatever it might be. So we know that's local. Geo-target down to the zip. The more you spend, the more they unlock these other sorts of features. Show the chiropractor doing these particular adjustments and whatnot, using the fake female voice, right? The computer-generated female voice seems to do better than the actual chiropractor looking in the camera and talking. And then to learn more, they click on the link and it autofills the form. It's generating leads for several dollars. We've seen it work in many industries for professional service. This is not just e-com. This is not young ladies who are singing and dancing that are attractive or doing stunts or beauty. Those are all great for organic, viral TikTok, for influencers who are trying to get big, just like they might try to get big on Instagram or YouTube. But today we're talking about what's working in TikTok for real business owners. And I've interviewed a ton of people, and I still want to interview more because the system changes a whole lot. They're innovating way faster than Facebook is. Of course, Facebook's being nailed with government regulation and other things, which is like wearing army boots while you're in a race. But what TikTok has done is taken short form video. 23 seconds seems to be the sweet spot if you're a professional, meaning you're like a dentist or a real estate agent or a consultant, somebody where you're providing services instead of selling products. Everything is on that short video. When you make the video, you have a choice of 15 seconds, 1 minute, and 3 minutes. I find that 15 seconds is the sweet spot. We launched 15secondstories.com as a way to collect most of these. But there's 3 parts that you want to make in that short video. And by the way, this short video is 90% of the success for TikTok. It's not how you set up ads. It's not your landing page. It could be your offer. It could be, how good you are on camera. It could be whatever. But 90% of the success on TikTok is in that video. And the 90% of the 90%, so the most important part of that video is the first 2 seconds, which is the hook and how you get people's attention. So we've tested hundreds of different ways in the last 18 months of how to get someone's attention. The easiest way is movement. So make sure that on your mobile phone, you're filming it vertically. You have some sort of movement that comes into this or some interesting background. When we were at Jake Paul's house filming, we had the Lego wall in the back, and that automatically targeted. TikTok recognized Jake Paul's house in the background and automatically showed it to people who like Jake Paul, and that sucker got 500,000 likes and millions of views. Unfortunately, we weren't selling anything in that one, but it just shows that the movement, the background is key. Then the second piece is having the text and having that big text where it's super clear what it is. And you can think of it. I heard Alex Hormozy said that your TikToks should basically be spoken tweets. And I think that's mostly true because you need to get their attention in the first 2 seconds, but like attention San Diego, California, or here's what 3 tips on back pain, or 5 things to get a 7-figure agency, or the text right there, where it's very obvious what it's about because you're trying to get them to watch more than the first few seconds. If anything, you're trying to get to, say, a 20 to 30% completion rate, meaning they watch all the way through on the video. If your video is 3 minutes long, You're not going to get that 20% plus completion rates. I'm also looking for the engagement rate, which is the percentage of people that click like or comment over the number of people that see it. I find that greater than, and not just my videos, but other people making videos. I've looked at so many people's accounts. They'll say, "Hey, let me see your open up TikTok. Let me see your ads." And people have thankfully let me see. I love seeing. But if we get 10% engagement, which is largely driven by what happens in the first 2 seconds on that 15 to say 30-second video, is key. So when you have that text calling out the city, so they know it's not just some viral content, but it's actually in the city that they're in and you're targeting that city. If it's saying, here's 3 tips on how to do whatever it is, and it's in text and the computer generated female voice. I mean, you can try it with the guy's voice, you can try it with your voice, but the female voice seems to do better. That's how you get the attention. So that hook might only be 2 or 3 seconds, but you got to get past that first few seconds as people are scrolling through. Then you give the tip quickly. You don't give a bunch of background. You don't do all this other stuff about who you are and say what your name is and your company. No, you just go straight into the tip, then reinforce it with the text. And you can have text boxes that will show up when you make the text box and choose the color, then you hit edit, or you can click duration. You can have this one thing show in the first 2 seconds, have another text box show from 2 seconds to 5 seconds, another text box show, whatever, from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. And you don't need fancy editing. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need editing software. You literally do it right there in the TikTok app. You can do it in mobile and on desktop. You choose music. Music works super well for an organic account because you can take advantage of trends and you can use non-commercial or sorry, commercial music. Like I can't sing, but I would hum. Like you already know like what the most popular ones are, right? It could be
Oh
what is
no! Oh no!
oh yeah. Oh, I hope I don't fall. Or yeah, I can't even what's that one or you want to bomb bot, you want to chill with the big boys. Like just I've heard like all these ones so many different times. See, if you have a business account, you can't use those commercial sounds. But then again, we want to run ads, so we are changing it to we. And people will argue back and forth about whether some people will say just do only organic because you can go viral, and that's true if you try enough times and if you're in the right category, maybe you can go viral. But we find ads as a great way of guaranteeing you're going to drive sales. So if you're a real business owner, you might be in a category like you're doing landscape and HVAC or whatever. You're a funeral director, probably not going to go viral, right? And you only want to target people in your city. You're not trying to become worldwide famous and get millions of followers. So if you're selling services in your city, your professional services or your agency or consultant, then I think ads is just a more solid way to get consistent traffic and leads. And you can get lead ads, you can drive links, can't do that organically. Anyway, I have a lot of different examples to show what is working and what isn't working. We've made so many different mistakes, logged into lots of other people's accounts and been able to play the last 18 months or so. I want to throw it out there for you to see what have you guys witnessed on TikTok and any questions that you might have.
So go ahead and raise your hand. I invited a couple of people up who had their hand up, but raise your hand if you got a question for Dennis or have an example of a TikTok ad that worked for you that you want to share.
And while people are coming in, I can talk. I can keep talking more. I just want people to know this is not a one-way monologue. This is something we are all learning together. We go into the TikTok interface and we see things change all the time, right? So this is something that just like Facebook in the early days, the interface keeps changing. The ad prices are getting more expensive. I'm seeing an average about $3 to $5 for a CPM, meaning every 1,000 impressions, we're paying $3 to $5, which is still less than a penny for things like video views. We see that you can choose 3 objectives, by the way, if you're boosting from the app as opposed to running inside the ads manager, where you can go for engagement, you can go for people visiting your profile, or get more followers, or I forgot exactly what it was. But anyway, when we run for engagement, obviously running videos instead of a collages, we find that about half of the impressions will turn into video views, which is really good. And of those people that play the video, about 20%, even 30% will click like on it, which is crazy good. I never saw those kinds of results except in the first year or two on Facebook. I think because the platform's new, because the ads are not obvious that they're ads. Because when you're scrolling through and it doesn't look like an ad and it's vertical and it's something entertaining and it's following the thing that I told you by making it look authentic and not ad like, then people will naturally click like, they'll click on your profile, you'll get more people following you, and you can, not that this is your main goal, but you'll get video views for under a penny. And this is something that helps build the organic power over time because the algorithm's going to show you to more and more people, provided you have a key theme that you have focused your TikTok account on, provided that you have some way of monetizing through leads or coming to your website. We're seeing leads come through at a third the price of what we have on Facebook. And some people, like my buddy Danny Vega or the guys at Cairo Candy, they are using what's working on TikTok, these 15-second videos, and they're copying them over to Facebook and running those as lead ads. And here's the funny thing. So it's not that the leads are cheaper, which is great. It's that the quality of the leads are just as good as they were on Facebook. And the reason why is that when you set up conversion tracking and you're firing that pixel when somebody purchases or they fill out the form or whatnot, TikTok can optimize to the event that you're looking for if you're running it inside the ads manager and choosing conversion as your event. So I found that shocking that we're getting cheap traffic relatively. When you're choosing conversion, your CPM may go up to $10. Your cost per click can double or triple up to $1 or whatever, but we're seeing conversion rates like on lead forms at 50%. We're seeing general lead conversion be about the same as it is on Facebook, and thus overall lead cost is lower because the base cost of the traffic is lower. We find that testing with 5 to 6 creatives is usually what we need to find a winner, and then testing at another 5 to 6 creatives at a time to find out what's working. This can change over time, but I don't think it's going to because TikTok has the same interface as Facebook's business manager. I think they call it business suite, and Facebook changed their thing to business suite. So whether we call it business manager, business center, business suite, it's the same thing. They literally copied it. You log in, you configure that business account to have different people who have different access to the ad accounts and the underlying accounts. You have a creative library, I think it's called Creative Center, where you have different creators that are in draft. You can boost existing posts. You can add credit cards, all the kinds of stuff that you see inside Facebook's business suite is the same that you're seeing on TikTok. Maybe not quite as good because they're trying to copy as fast as they can. But man, in the last 18 months, they've really come a long way. Hey,
Dennis, can I ask you a question?
go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. What's your thoughts on for a business and kinds of business you're talking about who would be using it for the lead gen ads? What's your thoughts on the business doing it directly, as you described, using text, using the computer voice, et cetera, versus working with TikTok influencers and having them create content for you?
Okay, so they're one and the same thing. So working with these influencers, which are called creators, there's TikTok has something that is similar to what Facebook has with branded. So you can, on Facebook, you can get access to some other person's, Facebook account or Instagram account granted through Business Manager, or them allowing you to, if that creator on Facebook marks that post as a branded post, then you can use an advertiser can boost it and get analytics on that post. TikTok's made it a little bit simpler. They have something called Spark Ads. And what happens with Spark Ads is that whoever that creator is, they just go to that post, go to the bottom right, click on the triple dots, scroll to the right, and generate the ad code. That ad code can live, I think, for 1 day, 7 days, 30 days, something like that. And whoever has that code can boost that post, which is awesome. So you're boosting someone else's post. We find it works super well. I asked TikTok about this last month, and this may change over time, but Jeff, guess what percent of TikTok's ad spend is on Spark ads. Of people who are spending money on TikTok ads,
1/3.
70%.
Okay, I was on the other side of the equation, but it was close.
I thought it would be closer to 50-50. But it may be that there's a few people like big brands that are, it's a weighted average where they're just spending so much that it ends up being, it's probably 1/3 of the accounts that are running TikTok ads. But if the spend, 70% of it is on Spark ads. And I've asked other people about why that is, and here's why. When you have someone who's a customer, so they don't have to be some big time influencer, but they really like your product or service, or they really have a cool story or something to tell, then that's a different angle and it's a different audience that can see it. So even if it's the same content, whether it's on your TikTok account or theirs, it'll behave differently just because of the nature of the algorithm trying to show it to people that are related to that account or who enjoy content like that. So we found with agencies that do this with clients that they they have a process to recruit these influencer people that are well known in a category. By the way, there's tons of networks. That TikTok has one where they have a group of vetted creators. There's no one over 30. For some reason, it's a bunch of kids. There's hashtag paid. There's that e-commerce one. I forgot what it's called, but it's like $59 or $69 per video post they make. You have to send them your product. So that's e-commerce. And then there's just reaching out to other people that you see on TikTok where you do searches on the category you want to rank in. You do searches on the hashtags, you do searches on other related accounts. Because when you look at account, they'll show you who the related accounts are, right? And you just reach out to them saying, hey, I would love to sponsor a post. I would love for you to make a TikTok about our product or service, and I'll pay you this. And based on how many followers, you might pay them $50, you might pay them a couple $100. If they're more of a hobbyist thing, they'll do it for free because they love the exposure. You say, hey, if you make this content, we'll even pay our own money to promote that. It's still a wild west. These different charts on how much you should pay an influencer based on how big they are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, right? A shout out on a particular social network. But I don't trust any of those averages. You see some of these people that will say, okay, a tweet from LeBron James is worth $140,000. I don't know. I've seen a lot more and I've seen a lot less. So I don't know how people are deciding what they think the benchmarks are, except for the agencies who, of course, have a vested interest in trying to pretend that they know how much it is to pay for an influencer. I don't believe any of that. Like apparently Donald Trump Jr., you can pay what, a couple 100,000. And if you want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast, it's $1 million. Who knows? But the point is, you need to reach out to your best customers and partners or JV partners, people who sell to your same customer base, but they're not direct competitors of yours. So, for example, if we want to reach dentists and we're a digital marketing agency, we would work with the dental supply companies because we want to reach the same people, and we would cross create content. We would co promote content. We might do a podcast together, cut out snippets. There's different ways to get other people to do the marketing for you, your customers, your partners, whatever you want to call it, word of mouth, social media, PR, whatever you want to call that. Using other people's content seems to work better than direct to face on yourself talking about this. Now, if you're a solo service provider and you're a consultant, agency, mortgage broker, whatnot, then start with yourself making content. My buddy Justin Martin is a real estate agent and mortgage broker in Denver, Colorado, and he is good on camera. So he makes lots of these little TikToks or lots of these little videos that we turn into Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We repurpose it into multiple channels. But yeah, start with it yourself. Work with other people, ideally without having to pay them because the incentive shouldn't be financial, unless they're like an affiliate and you give them a percentage of the revenue. But it's hard to track revenue. It's hard to track traffic that comes from TikTok for various reasons, just like with Facebook, increasingly because iOS 14 and that kind of thing. But yeah, definitely the influencer content that initially they post it and they give you that code so you can run a Spark ads against it. And then you download that TikTok, and there's apps that will let you, is it Spark Tick or Ticks? I forgot the name of the app, but or site. There's other places you can just download the thing without the watermark, and then you run that same content on your account, obviously with permission from whoever made the content, and that way you win both ways. You run it from their account, you run it from their account, And from a long-term basis, it'll probably be better running from your account, because after that first week or however long they set, there's three different settings when they create the Spark code for you on how long you can run ads. They'll have to keep creating a new code. I would think that within the next few months, they'll find a way where the ad accounts and the organic accounts are tied closely together. Right now, they are separate. So you can run ads on TikTok without actually being on TikTok. It just means that when you run an ad, if they click on that little circle for your profile, it just goes straight to the site because it's not like an actual organic account. So those people who are afraid of, well, I don't want to be on TikTok, I don't want to dance, I don't have time to waste and all that. You know what? I don't either. So you can literally set up an account on TikTok and just run lead ads, run straight to your thing. If you boost a post, then it will, if you click on the circle of the profile, it's on the right side, all the navigation's in white on the right side, then it'll go to the profile. But obviously, if you run as a regular ad from an ad account and it's not tied to a Spark ad or boosting an existing post, there's no profile to go to. So you click on it, it just goes to your landing page or whatever the destination URL is that you've mentioned.
Yep. Dennis, I got a question for you from the audience that was
Yeah.
posted in the live chat. So if you have a question for Dennis and don't want to raise your hand and come up on stage, feel free to back channel me or leave a post in the live chat. J.S. Gilbert asks, I was hoping Dennis can discuss how well capturing cell numbers for SMS marketing on TikTok is. Thanks.
Yeah, it works super well. Any kind of information capture works super well. Email seems to be the best thing right now, though, for some reason. And you'll get north of a 50% completion rate. But certainly you can run it through text messaging. You can ask qualification questions. You can do all kinds of stuff, as you'd imagine, inside a lead form. But the key is when you collect that information, when you have that integration with whatever your favorite marketing automation system is, Infusionsoft, HubSpot, whatever it might be, you want to message them immediately. So let's say I'm David Perez and I run nourish.me and I want to tell people about the benefits of curcumin for inflammation. I might say, hey, put in your email. I would start by saying, are you suffering? If you're suffering from headaches, or another one I would do, if you're each, I do a separate TikTok for each particular condition. If you're suffering with, you're a frequent traveler and you have jet lag, or you have joints, you're getting older and you wake up achy, then I have something for you. It's curcumin, which is a turmeric extract, but we have a special nanolyzed way of absorbing it. And I'd love to give you a 25% off discount. And then he points below, people click on it, fills out their email address, and then the system sends them an email. That's what I would do. So easy. Lead ads, to be super clear for those of you that are just joining, lead ads on TikTok is the thing. All right. You guys running lead ads, or if you guys are running ads on TikTok, I'd love to hear from you. What's working, what's not working. But everything we've been hearing and doing and testing ourselves is running lead ads on TikTok for real business owners, service providers, that sort of thing.
I've got another question from the audience for you, Dennis,
Yeah.
from Daniel Brackfield. Does B2B marketing work on TikTok? Most people
Oh, yeah,
believe
it does.
LinkedIn is much better for B2B marketing.
Oh, do you like? I'm trying to come up with a good analogy, but you have two kids. Which do you like better? You like them both. So, certain kinds of LinkedIn marketing that relate to job titles and whatnot, just like AJ Wilcox, who's the number one guy in LinkedIn ads, go follow him. We'll say, yeah. So the job title targeting, company targeting, skill targeting, that more professional kind of content, especially when you're trying to reach executives. And I don't want to say people that are older, because the fastest growing group is people who are over 40. Yeah, you're right. You're still going to run LinkedIn ads. But here's the thing that's happened in the last 3 months. It's not just kids, right? The myth is, oh, it's just a bunch of kids, teenagers that are dancing and doing silly things in fashion and makeup. And that's what it was 2 years ago. We were playing on this thing 2 or 3 years ago, back before it was called TikTok. But now everybody is on TikTok. And they said the same thing about Facebook. Back in 2007, when we were messing with TikTok, I was running Facebook flyers. You guys remember that? I ran my first Facebook ads 14 years ago. How many years ago? 15 years ago? Man, I'm getting old. And people were saying the same things about how it's just kids and college students. Because back then, you did have to be a college student to get on the Facebook. I had my SMU alumni email address, so I could be able to get in. But there there are, like, we see there's friends of ours like Caleb Williams. He's targeting people that are planning for retirement, and there's other folks that are reaching financial advisors we know that are doing testing. And what is the age, that first age for Social Security? Was it 63 and then 67? Are those the two? Anyway, there's two age cutoffs, you guys know, for Social Security. Would you believe that you can target 60? There's not as many, but you can target people who are plus 60, and we see that it's working for financial services and retirement advisory companies. Like, wow, what does that tell you? Yes, it is a younger audience, but now everybody's coming to TikTok. TikTok was the number one used app last year, number one website last year, more than Google. So it's not just kids if it's the number one app.
Yep, it's growing exponentially, and it's extremely addictive as compared to many of the other
Oh, yeah.
platforms, more so even than Facebook, even more than Facebook was in the early days.
You
But it's
know what?
interesting to see how you can use it for business.
I was at a conference in Denver last week, and some older fellow said, TikTok is for kids, and all I see when I go to TikTok is a bunch of young girls shaking their stuff. And I said, probably shouldn't be telling people that, because TikTok quickly learns about what your favorite things are. So if you click on stuff, if you watch, if you rewind something, if you click on that person's profile, it quickly learns what your secret little guilty personal pleasures are. So if you look on my TikTok, and I'm happy to share it, but in Clubhouse you can't see it, you'll see golfing videos, magic tricks. Sometimes you'll see pimple popping, because I found that was interesting. So I did some research to see, like, how is this one girl, this dermatologist lady getting all these patients? It's because she's posting pimple popping things. So I saw a few, and I clicked, and pretty soon TikTok was showing me all of that. It learns so fast. So if you claim to tell other people that you don't like what's on TikTok, or you claim it's a certain kind of thing, you're telling people that's what you are engaging with. So be very careful. I've seen a lot of people who claim to be social media experts tell other people that they see X on TikTok. Yeah, you should be saying that, bro. You're revealing the kind of stuff you like to click on or you like to watch.
It's also
It,
possibly a reason why a lot of businesses don't think TikTok's appropriate for them, because they're assuming that what they see personally on TikTok is what everyone else is seeing. And what we have to realize is,
yeah,
because of that powerful algorithm, everyone has their own unique
yeah,
TikTok experience.
right. So when you go to YouTube, right? When I go to YouTube, I see magic tricks. I see what digital marketers are doing. When I go to Twitter, I see what Alex Berman is doing with cold emailing and his agency, and what he's doing in Europe right now, and his trips to India and all that. Like, I see all that stuff because those are the people I follow. So all of us, we have a different feed. And that is true on TikTok. Each of us are going to have a different feed. But the difference is TikTok's algorithm gives zero craps about who you're friends with. Like, Facebook's limited. This is why TikTok's growing way faster. Facebook is limited. It's not because the Chinese are manipulating or something. That Facebook's limited by who your friends are. That's the initial context. So by definition, what your friends are showing might be more relevant to you, but won't be as viral. So TikTok says, you know what? I don't care who your friend. When you log into TikTok, there's the people you're following on the left, and then the For You page, and all the traffic's on the For You page. That's where you start. People don't click on the other thing; they click on who they're following. So they're just showing the most interesting thing to you. Each of us has a different set of items in the news feed. That's what makes TikTok so addictive, because it gives zero craps about who your friends are. It just wants to show you the most addictive content based on how it learns from your engagement. So when we're showing ads into this, we're able to bypass that algorithm partially, because we're targeting by who is engaging with us and by seeking the conversion event. If we've got our pixel configured, and ideally through Google Tag Manager, firing the right events, digital plumbing, that kind of thing, we're able to take advantage of the fact that people are there a long time. They log in many times, and we can drive leads for real estate agents, for roof repair, for curcumin, whatever it might be, whatever the condition is that people have. The ad disapproval rates are a lot lower. Facebook or TikTok support is way better, which isn't saying much compared to Facebook's support, right? Sorry, Facebook, you guys were good to me back up until like 2014, and then your support was not very good, right? TikTok, they're hungry. They've hired up a huge support team, and they're by and large helpful. They respond to you, they get on the phone with you, all that kind of stuff. And you can say things that you can't say or do on Facebook. So that's why I was saying one of the hooks is, if you're a local business, you say, "Hey, San Diego, California." Then you say, "If you have joint pain, if you are sore, if you want to get your taxes done, if you like whatever it is that you do, if you are dealing with insert the problem that you have, then here's a tip for you. Oh, and I'm David Perez. Let's book a time to call, to talk about, or buy my product. Here's a coupon code," right? Some sort of incentive to get them to fill out the form. Or you send them to an appointment booking. You can send them to your landing page, but we recommend that you mean test both, but the lead ad where you're collecting information on TikTok's native form, it, because it loads immediately, because it auto populates with their information, you get a 50% completion rate versus a 7% completion rate. And we find right now that's what's working best, especially because we're losing all this data because of iOS 14. So people go from the TikTok app to the website, and Apple doesn't allow it because you didn't allow the app, or all this privacy stuff, GDPR. It's making it harder to track the data, hard to figure out what happened in terms of your referral traffic to the website. So with Facebook, the lead ads, and TikTok, the lead ads seem to be the way to go, and it's going to be like this, I think.
Yep. Dennis, we've got JS up on stage. I think he may have a question for you. Do you have a question for Dennis? JS, if you're there and you have a question, unmute yourself. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I wish I had heard Dennis before I started watching all those thoughts channels on TikTok. Oh, boy.
Ah,
That's explaining a lot of the pop ups.
your secret pleasure.
But what I was saying before about the SMS, what I'm doing with clients is probably what a lot of other people are doing. Their Instagram and Facebook landing pages, essentially, we're offering something of value in order to get their email address.
Right.
And it goes okay and sometimes better than others. However, we started switching over not that long ago into doing either a double offer or doing a double opt-in, essentially, where you give the email address and then it asks for your cell phone number.
Okay.
And it's been okay. We're not getting nearly the number of cell phone numbers entered. People are abandoning at that point. Probably about 17 to 22% of the people that are giving us their email will also give us the phone number. But then subsequently, in doing marketing, the SMSs, they've got like a 90% open rate, which is amazing. And
Yeah.
we are getting a lot of traction off of that. So I just wonder if we were to either expand and do this sort of thing in TikTok
Mhm.
or give up maybe Facebook and move to TikTok.
Why would you give
Uh,
up? Test them both. And what works on TikTok, put it back in the Facebook.
but do you think in TikTok that it would we would have decent
It,
numbers in
if it
terms of
works on
people?
Facebook, it'll work on TikTok.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But it's
All
so
right.
easy to test. And
Yeah, yeah, I know. But it's also hard to convince clients. I don't understand what it
they don't
is.
care. But you set the rules. You're the agency. They want the result. When you bring your car into the mechanic, you allow the mechanic to choose what tool and what kind of oil and whatever it is, right?
Yeah, I'm not
So,
good. Be Silverstein.
okay. Yeah.
they
No.
it's it I it, you got to pick your battles, and it's sad. It's sad because I think there is a great what I think TikTok, like right now, is like California was in 1858 or something, the gold
Yeah.
rush. But it's hard to explain that to people. I also getting doing analytics on TikTok stuff, is that a little more difficult?
That's useless. You can get native engagement on the particular post. So my favorite thing to do is on each of these posts, I'll go in, and you can do this inside the business suite or natively. See what the I can't even say this, what the engagement rate is. Basically, a percent of people that see what the average watch time is and see video completion. Then go in and look at the comments and see what people are saying, because those turn into leads, and they also give you an idea of whether the creative's hitting, whether people hate it, whether they have questions or whatnot. But the post level analytics are good, but
Okay.
conversion analytics, where you're going across websites, you're going to use tools like Triple Whale for e-commerce or Hyros for general lead gen. anything that's UTM driven. There's
Okay.
wicked reports.
We
There's
have
a lot
wicked
of these.
reports. Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever. People can argue about what their favorite third-party tracking is, but the native analytics on TikTok, it's not because ByteDance as a parent company sucks. It's because of all this data privacy nonsense that's happened in the last couple of years, and it's just
Yeah.
only going to get worse.
And if I could ask one last thing, what do you find you're having to craft calls to actions differently for the tech community than you do for, say, Instagram or Facebook?
It's the same thing. Yeah,
Really?
we're running
Okay.
ads the same way, except the emphasis on short form video that's vertical and has a hook the first 2 seconds. Everything's about that first 2 seconds. Who cares about the call to action if they don't get to the end of the issue is not the call to action. The issue is, can I get past the first few seconds?
Yeah, somebody was saying put the call to action in after about 4 seconds if you're doing a TikTok video. So
Maybe, but that might not be enough time to
yeah, I
deliver a
know.
value proposition.
Yeah, exactly.
There's three parts that we want to hit inside our 15-second story, and it doesn't have to be 15. I've seen some people do it for a minute, and people will say, Dennis, I ran this one for a minute, and this one converts. And I'm like, okay, show me. Okay, yeah, that's good. You still follow the same. If you follow, I don't want to name all these other people, but basically, the hook that people will disagree about what exactly the different components are. Like Michael Sanchez, I think, has 8 parts. I think that's too complicated. There's 3 parts you want. First is the hook. How do you get their attention? Some motion, some text, some interesting thing.
Attention, interest, desire, action. There you go. So
Yeah,
easy
the
to say.
IDA formula works well, which is more for copy. But in terms of video on TikTok to tell stories, the hook is that beginning part. The middle is where you are sharing some kind of thing that's informative or educational, and then there's a call to action at the end. So IDA, awareness, interest, desire, action, is the customer funnel, that journey. But when we're talking about what happens in a single video, you want to follow this 3-part formula, right? The hook, the
So
body, the
are
call to
people
action.
gonna pay attention then to this video on TikTok if I'm not lighting myself on fire or coming out wearing
Yeah,
lingerie?
because several things. One, if you're a local service business, you're going to say, hey, Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, shoot, that's me. And then you're saying, if you have this issue, if you are this kind of person, if you fit in this category, that's relevant. So the easiest way to get attention or to have a great hook is to establish relevance as opposed to lighting yourself on fire or jumping off a building or doing some sort of inflammatory look at me sort of thing. And
Not a
if you're a
stunt, a
professional,
connection. Go for a connection, not a stunt.
don't do stupid things. Like the thing we did with Jake Paul was drink toilet water. If I'm Dr. Glenn Vo and I'm a dentist, I'm not going to be drinking toilet water. I would lose a lot of respect from people if I did that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
What's
Establish super high relevance quickly in the first. No, don't
yeah.
introduce yourself. Don't like literally establish value instantly.
And if you do something that turns out to be stupid, how easy is it to go in and do damage control and all
It's the internet, so who knows, right?
that?
That's why we just assume everything you put should be, just assume it's public, even though technically billions of people could see your stuff. Probably not many people will. And as much as I hate to say it, it's cringy, be authentic. So feature your customers, share your expertise, talk about what's actually happened, right? If I did A, B, and C, and this is what I got. And if as long as you stay there, you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to resort to hokey sorts of things, to wearing a gorilla costume and like those sign spinners on your furniture going out of business sale.
Okay, I guess I'm putting the gorilla costume up for sale on eBay then.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Listen, well,
sometimes
sorry.
stand on the street corner when business is slow and maybe people will come into your place, right?
All
Twirl
right,
your sign.
thank you guys. I'm gonna drop down back to the audience and let Livna get a chance here. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank you,
JS.
JS. Libna, welcome. Did you have a question for Dennis?
Yes, hi. Thank you for letting me talk here. So yeah, my question is this: I've done B2B manufacturing and branding for the last like 20, 25 years in the fashion and packaging industry, and that's all I've ever known. So I mean, I have
Yeah.
a rinky-dink Instagram. I don't know really like about how to even present on because wholesale and B2B is such different dynamic than B2C. And
You're breaking up
suggestions you
quite a bit.
think
It's
I
really
should
hard to
do
hear you.
for
Yep. Do you want to maybe? Yeah, that's a little
Can you
bit
hear me
better.
now? I was just saying, what suggestions do you have for someone that's starting out doing B2C in the fashion and packaging industry? And should I even do both for that matter, or should I just stick to one?
Libna, I would choose one. Do you have one particular visual case study you can show for packaging for one of these clients? I imagine you would by nature of what you do.
Yes, in the B2B and wholesale, yes, but not like
Yeah.
direct to consumer, no.
Yeah, great. So show that packaging, show yourself with these other people, show some sort of result, and then you can do that simple TikTok where you're literally showing that packaging, you in front of it, and then you give some tips, like 3 tips on how to do packaging the right way. Like make sure, like whatever your tips are, 1, 2, and 3, and have those as text pieces that show sequentially, and then lead them to a guide, some sort of email thing. So it works super well in B2B. You just need to make sure that you're configuring your lead tracking. So you can generate a lot of leads, but you want to make sure that the good leads. So have your conversion tracking set. Maybe we can initially try just on regular lead ads, but you could try it on people who sign up for a webinar or people who do something that's one step past or actually on your lead form, have a couple qualifying pieces of information.
And am I attract, because ultimately, are you saying to use TikTok to find more B2B customers? Because I was
Yeah.
trying to do more B2C, but I was trying to actually shift to the B2C market, and I didn't
Okay.
know how to. In fashion, I could do a lot with it because I could sell piece by piece, but
Sure.
packaging, I just don't see it in the B2C.
So you're
Do
cutting out a
two
little bit,
different things.
Libna, but yeah. B2B and B2C are different. You can win on either. The key is that you have a clear call to action and a clear path for people to sign up.
Got you. So just
You just
pick
got to
one.
make these videos.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
pick
whatever's
one and just
generating.
either B2B or B2C.
Look, the whole thing with digital marketing is to amplify what's already working. So whatever's already working best in your business, whatever channel's working best, whatever your marketing source is, whatever your offer is, what you have some way of collecting emails or booking a phone call or meeting people at trade shows or you rank on certain keywords. I don't know. Whatever the thing is that's driving you the most business, find a way to extend that into Facebook and TikTok. There's nothing magic about what we're doing here. There's no need to come up with new ideas, right? What's the thing that's working? Make 15-second videos around that, drive it to a lead form or a landing page, and now you're getting more of the thing that has already been working for your business. Doesn't matter if it's B2B or B2C. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, as long as it's a legal business and your customers can talk about you and that kind of thing.
Got it. And if I was to do like a new B2C, that's like a different type of model, I'm assuming,
Yeah,
correct?
anytime you're starting a new business, so anyone who's a startup, anyone who has a new idea, it's going to be so much harder. It has nothing to do with TikTok. It's just when you have validation and your customer fit, you have feedback from customers on why they like you, you know what the value proposition is, you've tested it, you've got happy clients to talk about you, then all of these channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, they all become the same because you are just putting content and your offer that's already working and letting the system optimize to a conversion of which what a conversion's worth because you've got plenty of people who have bought. But if it's a new product, then you don't really know. Then you're testing. You don't know the product market fit yet. And
Got
that's
it.
that's a business strategy problem, not a TikTok problem.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Libna.
Yeah, those are great comments, Dennis. And one big takeaway you said there in passing is think of this as amplification. All of these platforms and digital gives you the ability to amplify the things that you already know that work. And I thought that's what I wrote down. And that's one of my big takeaways from tonight, Dennis. So thank you for that. So I think this has been another great episode of the Coach U Show covering TikTok tonight. And Dennis, what do we got coming up in the future on the Coach U Show? Any good topics people could look forward to?
We've got lots of great surprises. And I wrote up I think I'm just getting older. I wrote up a whole list of the ones that are coming up, but you'll just have to tune in because the best learning is when we're doing it together here. And I find that the more knowledge I get, the more I don't know. And I don't even know the things that I don't know. So, like here, we're talking about TikTok. You could be watching on the replay or you could be here with us live. You'll probably find ideas for your business and things that you could implement that maybe are separate from, maybe not directly related to TikTok, but maybe apply in other parts of your marketing. So the key is just hang out. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So I love hanging out with David Perez and Jeff Sass and Danny Monzon and other friends that are here. So just whether you believe in increasing your vibe or whatever it is, to be around other people that are of like mind, then I'd encourage you come join us and ask your questions. Let us know what you think. You have a huge opportunity because of the internet and Clubhouse to reach people that are literally one click away. Can you imagine what would it be? What would you have to pay to get 5 minutes with Jeff Sass, right? The CMO of paw.com, and ask him questions and pick on his expertise and what he knows about transcendental meditation and all sorts of other things. That's invaluable. And here you have
Well,
direct access right here.
I'll tell you, Dennis, there's this amazing thing called the World Wide Web and a website. So if you actually go to startup.club, neither you nor I could remember what's on the schedule, but there's actually a schedule posted at startup.club. And I
Yeah.
can tell you right now that next Thursday on March 24th, Coach U is going to be talking about I've personally processed 1 million emails. That's the title of the room. So
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if you want to, yeah. So that's what's coming up next week
Yeah.
on the Coach U show.
You're drowning in email. I'm going to show you how I do it, how I keep on top of all the relationships and tasks and calendar stuff and whatnot. You want to let in one last comment? Oh, let's David. I love David Perez. Anything David Perez has to say, I'm listening. Mr. David. Are you in Hungary now or San Diego? Where are you, David Perez?
Hi, Dennis. I'm actually in Tel Aviv right now.
Tel Aviv. Oh wow, that's right.
It's almost 3 a.m. here.
Holy moly.
Anyhow,
We're so lucky to have you.
I have not been on Clubhouse in ages. And when I don't know why, I just decided to log in to put myself to sleep. And I see you, one of the kindest, most brilliant human beings I know. And I've only known Dennis for about 6 months, but he's definitely one of my favorite humans in this planet. His knowledge and his guidance on directing me in the right path in the health and wellness space has been amazing. So I've learned so much from Dennis's kindness and gratitude that will be forever grateful with Dennis. And Jeffrey, it's a pleasure to meet you, pal. And thank you for your kind words, Dennis.
David, you mean so much to me, my friend. That this is why we connect. The funny thing is that David and I, we first connected on the internet. Was it Clubhouse, I want to say, or maybe it was
Yeah,
a mutual friend?
Clubhouse. Yeah.
And then I liked him so much. Like this is the guy. I remember, you know what? I've seen this guy before. Oh yeah, he was that guy who chartered that 747 jet of all these supplies with his own money into Haiti when all this disaster stuff happened. And the authorities were like too slow getting their act together. So he just went ahead and chartered a jet and filled it with water and supplies. Like, oh, it was that guy. I need to get closer to this guy. This guy wants to make an impact on the planet, even if it costs him millions of dollars. And so I flew out to San Diego to hang out with David, and we've hung out and done other things. And I'm just so blessed to know David. He's fantastic. You need to
Thank
follow
you.
people like that. Use the internet as a way to find people, but then take the effort to go meet them.
Absolutely. I flew out to Budapest to meet Dr. Lyons. I was there for 3 weeks. He treated my son for 3 weeks as well. And he was the only doctor in the world in 15 years that was able to diagnose him properly. And my son is now healed thanks to your connection, Dennis. So I will be forever grateful and always in gratitude. And you always have a home in San Diego. Stay at my place when I'm away anytime. Mi casa, su casa. So I'm very grateful for you, Dennis. You're an amazing connector in this world.
Thank you so much, David. Isn't it so cool? Like you and I can just, because of the connections that we have. I don't want to name drop with all the people that you know, unless because I don't want to boast about
Mm,
you. But if we look at the people that you know, David, and that Jeffrey knows, and some of the people I know, we can create just tremendous value literally by making an introduction. So David was able to meet one of my good friends, Dr. Robert Lyon. Yeah, who's the founder of Cocoon. This is that oxygen water stuff. You might see my stories on Facebook and Instagram. And this is something I am a science minded, you need to prove me cynical kind of person. But this Cocoon water, what it does, the oxygen in it, and what it does to your immune system, does all sorts of things. And I was lucky just to be able to introduce David to Dr. Lyons, and all these other things happened just from a simple introduction. So, guys, think about what you could do. Think about the people that you know and how you can create value and help other people simply by making an introduction.
And be open to those introductions. A good friend of mine, Jeff Pulver, always says the next person you meet can change your life.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just one connection away. You're not one funnel away. You're just one connection. You're one tweet. You're one clubhouse room away.
he changed my son's life, that's for sure. And I've been in seek of a solution to help him for 15 years, and finally, we're able to help a 28-year-old kid who, who's been suffering greatly for 15 years. Dennis, it's amazing, but I met a lot of people from Europe, all over the world, in Budapest. They come to sit in these baths for 50 minutes 3 times a day. And by the way, Dennis, I reversed my age. His studies show a
Uh-huh.
10 to 12 year reverse in age. So they measured my blood, and they measured my with those little devices that measure
Yeah.
your red blood cell, and they also did
Yeah.
the dark field microscope. When I got there, my age was 51 to 65 before the treatment. After 3 days, it was 50 to 60, or 50 to 55. And then after a week, it was 41 to 50. And then it went 31. After 2 weeks, it was 31 to 35. And
Wow.
when I left last week, I was at 25 years, my biological age. So
You're Benjamin
literally,
Button. You're going to be wearing diapers soon.
yeah, literally drinking the water, taking the bath, and curcumin and cogni nourish.
Yeah.
He'd never seen anything like it. And he did his own blood work with
Yeah.
curcumin 5 minutes after taking it with
Uh-huh.
his water and his blood. I'll send you the photos. He'd
Yeah.
never seen anything like it in his bloods. But you could see your red blood cells, the whole arrangement, the
Yeah.
coherency. It's just mind boggling what that oxygen does.
Did you
And
measure vitamin
it's
C levels to see
yeah,
what happened? What happened?
my vitamin. You'll see my I printed everything out before and after. You'll see everything. I had
Wow.
my blood work. So did my son. So it was pretty cool. And you know what? Everybody should go meet with him, do his system. By the way, I bought a couple tubs.
Oh,
They're
nice.
they're shipping them on a plane next week. I'm getting them airdropped.
And my
Yeah,
mom's getting one too. So you can actually
that's
get the
awesome.
cocoon tub in your home. So people who have enough money to get one of these, are 6 figures, it's worth it. We know a bunch of billionaires, and that's what they do. And they have enough money. That really doesn't matter. They just get tons of them. I think the Queen got 20 of them in Malaysia
Yep.
when we were there.
Wow.
She wanted them gold plated too. She just insisted that they had to be gold plated.
Ah, amazing. Yeah, it's I met the whole family, and he's got amazing sons and his wife, and yeah, we really had a great time. And I ordered a container of water. I'm waiting in glass bottles. So
Yeah.
it's 10,000 bottles. You'll have to help me sell some. We're going to put it under Tracy's name.
Oh
Hydrate.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hydrate.
it'll be
I think that'd
perfect.
be
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah. So anyhow, everybody's listening. Dennis is just keep listening to him, and whatever he says, I'll be doing for the rest of my life. And Dennis surely could use your help on a couple of new endeavors on the marketing side. So we should talk.
Every day I start off with 10 drops of curcumin. At first, when David shared with me these little bottles, I'm like, okay, whatever. This is like another health remedy. I've got tons of friends who see me as like some marketing guy who can they think I'm going to explode their business because I can do some internet marketing. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'll try this out. And I twisted my ankle badly to where I needed crutches, and it just hurt. Like I thought I'm young and I can just walk it off, and actually I'm 47 and I'm older than I thought I was before, and it wasn't going away. So the combination of drinking the water and taking curcumin, I was able to go to the gym. I bought this gym membership that I've not used for 6 months just because whatever. But that's what I've been using. And I'm like, I don't know if this, like, you have to tell me whether this is like what the linkage is here, but I went to the gym 2 days ago, And just for fun, I've never done this for 20 years. I decided, you know what? Let's put 250 pounds on. I don't advise anyone to do this. So if you do this and you get hurt or whatever, don't blame me. But I went to the gym and I just felt motivated because I've been doing this curcumin 3 times a day, like 10 drops 3 times a day out of this bottle with the cocoon water. And I loaded up 250 pounds onto the bench press, which is, I've never done that much in my whole life. The most I've ever done was 240. And I did it easily. And I'm wondering, do you think that's a combination of the extra oxygen from cocoon plus the curcumin with the helping with inflammation?
So you'll love this. Without the curcumin, I'm sorry, without the water, 5 years ago, I could only do about 200, 250 push ups in an hour. Through my yoga class, I would do 250 push ups. I went from 250 to 500 to 1,000 in 5 years.
1,000 push-ups in
And
an
now
hour?
it's easy. I could do 100. I could do 70 in a minute. No
Wow.
problem. Push ups. So that's easy through the class. Now, there's a few people on this that have seen me do the push-ups, but anyhow, on this room, by the way. So in Hungary, normally I would do sets of 50 or 60. I've always done the max 70.
Yeah.
My third day in Hungary, in Budapest, drinking the water, taking the baths, I cranked out 100 with no sweat. I could have probably done
Wow.
120 in a row.
Wow.
Normally I stop at 60 or 70.
It's because you're
So the
25,
what?
David.
What's that?
It's because you're 25.
Yeah, I got to tell you. Yeah, exactly. I'm 25 now. I got to tell you, the water is something else. It's just crazy when you drink it. Now, what we did learn, 5 years of research and 18,000 hours, it upregulates and downregulates 600 genes, including, guess what? The mTOR gene, which
Mm,
is responsible for muscle.
mm,
So the water is like literally affecting, it upregulates your mTOR gene, which increases your muscle. So
hmm.
there you go. That's why you're cranking it out between reducing inflammation, eliminating hypoxia.
Yeah.
You got the best of both worlds there, and that's why you're cranking. I saw you posted that couple of days ago, right? I saw
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
on your Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What are you, crazy? You nuts? At your age, you don't want to be doing that kind of weight. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd never done it for 20 years. I did 240 20 years ago, but I just
Oh
thought
my!
I can do 250. I'm just going to do it.
I, as a kid, I never did more than 180, and I never weighed
Yeah.
more than 150 as a kid. Never
Yeah.
did more than 180. I can go to the gym today and just crank out 225, no problem, which is
Yeah.
crazy because at my peak, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
What I'm doing today at 58, I never imagined that I could do 5 years ago. Never. And the water's just amplifying the effects of the anti-inflammatory.
Yeah. I think this stuff might be made illegal. So there are professional sports teams that are using the cocoon water. And then Dana White, who runs the UFC, you'll see him there if you go to Las Vegas, that he'll bring in these other fighters and they use it as part of the recovery. And then a little secret, Jake Paul for his fights, he's been drinking the cocoon water. I've been shipping it to him.
Give him some curcumin. Send me his
Yeah.
address. We'll ship him some curcumin.
Yeah.
Watch what happens. He won't swell.
I'm
There'll be no
wondering though
swelling or bruising.
if the Olympic Committee or the NCAA, there's no way they're going to make this illegal because it's not blood doping. Like blood doping is when you're putting chemicals into the bloodstream or re-injecting your blood or whatnot. But this is just drinking water that has more oxygen in it, or the curcumin.
Right.
There's nothing illegal about turmeric, right?
By the way, our
Concentrated
stuff
turmeric.
is, yeah, all of our products are informed choice for sports. So all Olympic athletes can take it. All NFL, NBA players, they all can take it. It's the only liquid turmeric in the world that's approved by Informed Choice for Sports, and it's tested for over 209 banned substances, not only by them, by two other labs.
It was
It's
funny.
kosher.
I ran Division 1 track and field and cross country all 4 years when I was at SMU undergrad. I actually had a Southwest Conference championship ring, believe it or not. And we were running 100 miles a week. But we get woken up in the middle of the night. It'd be like Sunday morning at 3 a.m. And then they would make us do these random blood tests and urine tests because they were that serious about cheating. And when we signed up initially as NCAA athletes, if you guys have ever been athletes, you have to sign this thing where it says, and there's this gigantic list. There's got to be a couple hundreds, like 10 pages. and it says, I agree as an athlete not to use any of these substances. And I don't even know what these things are. It's nuts. So any kind of edge like this, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you, brother. So good to have you pop in. This made my day. Seeing David Perez pop into the room. How awesome is that, right?
Thank you,
That's the cool
Dennis.
thing about being in Clubhouse.
Thank you, Dennis. I
You never know
appreciate
what's
you.
going to happen or who's going to show up in Clubhouse.
Hey, Jeffrey, it's a pleasure to meet you. I just started following you. It's an honor to meet you, Jeffrey. I
Likewise.
see
Thank
you
you,
got a
David.
ton of accolades here. Thank you, man. Blessings to all of you people listening to these fine gentlemen here. I learned a lot today about TikTok. I have a friend of mine who's got millions of downloads or views on TikTok, and everybody's been telling me about TikTok for about a year, and I dismissed it to exactly what everybody else thought about, just
Yeah.
girls dancing. And wow, it's a real powerful advertising tool now. So I'm really elated to get going on TikTok. Dennis, we got to get together on that. All
Yeah,
right.
you let me know. When you
Thank
get
you.
back to San
I
Diego, I'll
will.
fly in. We'll make a bunch of TikToks with Tracy and other folks.
Oh, I'd love that. Love that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dennis. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Have a
David. Yeah,
wonderful day. Bye bye.
get some
Good
rest.
night,
All right.
everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.
Night, David. Hey, Jeffrey, send me your mailing address. And if you'd like, I'll ship you some cocoon water.
Awesome. I will do that. This was a nice way to end the show from TikTok to oxygenated water. We covered it all, but that was really interesting. I want to thank everyone who joined us today on stage with questions and questions in the chat, and everyone who stayed and listened. Hopefully you got some value from it. I always do. It's always great to hear Coach you talk. And as mentioned before, we've got some great topics coming up for the future. Any final remarks, Dennis?
See you guys next week. I'm going to show you how I process 1 million emails, which is 600 a day. And I think you'll find some huge productivity tips, some things that you didn't know that will give you back an hour a day.
Inbox
What's
zero.
that worth? Get an hour a day.
Inbox zero from
That's right.
Coach U. Awesome.
Inbox zero, but then we take it to the next level. So we'll see you
Awesome.
guys next week. Love you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Jeffrey, for moderating and being here every week. You are an absolute boss.
Thank you, Dennis. It's my pleasure. And like I said, I always learn from you each week. So it's a guilty pleasure. I enjoy doing it and I get something out of it. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. All
Have a
right.
great weekend.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.